Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking the new V2 Psy ENEL into the Hawkins forest, and my god, Psy is Kami tier. I tell you what, Psy is so ridiculously strong that even with the mono Psy and being as restrictive as a captain as this guy is, with a color affinity special, we can actually still manage to get it done. So, gotta say, I really like this ink effect. I'm actually contemplating whether I want to actually put the ink effect on ENEL. He's a very, very good Rumble unit, and I'm going to be using that Psy team moving forward anyway, so I think it's something that I might do. But let's take a quick look at the team before we jump into the run. So, wait, this is the team. Okay, so this is the team here. So it is led by the big dog ENEL. His special reduces all enemies' HP by 15%, boosts the crew chance of landing on their own type slot for 99 turns, and then reduce paralysis and bind by 5 turns, and boost the type effects of normal attacks for Psy characters by 2.25 for 1 turn, and then deals 50% of his damage dealt by normal attacks by the character as end of turn damage. So that end of turn damage isn't that much. It's quite nice, but like it's not that much. I totally forgot this guy actually does bind, and you could probably use that along the way on the Zoro Juro and the stage, the Zoro Law and Sublimaar stage. But it is what it is. His captain is a 5 times captain if orbs are matching for Psy units, 4.25 times otherwise, 1.3 times HP, makes int recovery T&D slots have matching slot effects, and then will trigger his special at the start of the quest. So the fact that we can actually get recovery orbs matching is what makes this guy so strong, as well as making this run so good. So I do apologize if I sound a little bit off. I'm a bit clammy and stuff today, so I do apologize if the commentary is a little bit how you're going, but let's take a look at the team. We've got Robin on this team. Robin's great at removing damage reduction, threshold, and defense up, damage reduction, and despair for the final stage. So she's really, really good. She can also use the Bardo support, which is very, very strong at removing 3 turns of paralysis on the Kanjuro and Kinemon stage. Next, we've got Germa. Now, Germa are literally ENEL's best friend, mainly because ENEL is a Psy leader. You are running like a full Psy team, so you are going to get the most out of this guy's special, being the 2.25 times orb boost. Now, I actually limit break keyed my Germa with the 6+ coming out on Japan. Sort of mini prep work over here on Global, so it is a little bit of a showcase for them as well. Their captain ability is obviously a 5 times captain if you have Psy and T&D slots, which we will see obviously because they become super effective against all types when you use their special, which then therefore makes ENEL's special even stronger, making the 2.25 times color affinity relevant whenever this guy is captain. Next, we've got Shirashiri. V2 Shirashiri is essential for this particular team. Their switch ability is basically irreplaceable, plus the overheal mechanic is just so overly broken, it's not even funny. Plus, because they're actually a quick unit, we can actually use the Hakuba support or Cavendish 6+. Now, that's going to give us an attack and orb boost by 1.5 times when we use their special. And this drastically helps us out, as we are just one special short of getting Luffy Sanji's. And that way we can actually take out Law on that annoying Zoro, Law, and Sanji stage. The final unit we have on the team is Luffy and Sanji. They are essential here as they give us the full ward of recovery orbs. And then with the Magello special, we can lock them. 2.5 times attack boost is very, very strong, as well as giving us the overheal mechanic. But we do have Shirashiri here, so that doesn't matter too much. They are a Luffy and Sanji unit, which means they have very good supports. And in this case, we are actually using Old Man Hio. Old Man Hio is going to remove 2 turns of threshold on the Hold'em stage at the very beginning, but this is not essential. You can easily replace him with something else. I just had it here just because it was a lot quicker, but you can easily stall out those extra 2 turns with the overheal mechanic. Finally, the ship we are running is the Magello. Obviously, we need them to lock the recovery orbs, and with that said, that's the team. Let's hop into the run. Alright, so here we are at the Hold'em stage, and we have stalled a little bit, but basically with this particular setup, we do have Old Man Hio on our Luffy Sanji, so when we use their special to give ourselves a full board of recovery orbs, and then we can use the Magello to lock them, we're going to be in good stead, as it just helps with stalling. Now, if you guys don't have Old Man Hio, he's a treasure map rare recruit, and I understand if you don't have him, you can easily just continuously stall the rest of the turns. I just wanted to use him here just because it made things a lot quicker, as you guys can see, and when you are sort of putting these runs together, making any part a little bit faster when you are testing stuff is very, very nice. So on the next stage, we come up against Kinemon and Kanjuro. They're going to give us that orb seal mechanic, which we are going to abuse. Now, with ENEL making recovery orbs matching, it helps out significantly, as we don't have to rely on Luffy Sanji's switch, as that will become irrelevant once we get to the Jack stage. But being able to abuse the 5 times captain multiplier, as well as having the full board of recovery orbs, is just really, really nice for this particular team, as we can still heal up where we need to, and we can actually overheal with Shirashiri, but we can also get that 5 times captain multiplier all the time, as with ENEL, if you have a matching orb, you get that 5 times captain, which is great. Moving on to the next stage, we come up against Koyashiro. He is a int unit, which is really good for this particular team, as we are pretty much running mono Psy. But he's going to special bind us for 2 turns, and he puts up 3 turns of defense up. So we do need to stall out the special bind, and that's why the switchability of V2 Shirashiri is absolutely amazing. On the second turn, he's going to give us another 2 turns of special bind, as well as slot sealer. So again, this is why Shirashiri is just so good for this particular team, and pretty much irreplaceable, to be honest, just because of their switchability. After the second turn, Koyashiro is going to put up a damage reduction. So this is where we're going to use our Robin special to remove both the defense up and the damage reduction. And then we can just hit our perfects, and we should be able to take him out. I think you have to hit all your perfects here to take him out. But with the color affinity, it does help out. Because we got our specials rollback on the previous turn, we can't use ENEL special. ENEL special would have been God tier there, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Next, we move on to the next stage against Jack. And Jack is going to just spare our captains for 2 turns, respective to your sockets. But with our switch abilities of Luffy, Sanji, and Shirashiri, we can actually remove that. Because we got the overheal, we are just going to take advantage of the meat orbs, and we are going to try and heal up. You can do some damage against Jack here, but it really doesn't matter too much. After turn 1, Jack does a bunch of HP cuts, and as you can see, like, it's a lot of HP because we have the overheal mechanic. So we're going to switch back into our Psy units, and then we can use the special of Judge, or Germa 66, I should say. With the special of Germa 66, we get the orb boost to the entire crew. We also get, obviously, a 5 times captain, and they're super effective against all types. So we're going to use the ENEL special as well for a 2.25 times color affinity boost. And with that, we can actually take out Jack literally just with the hit from Germa. You do need to hit, like, most of your perfects here, but you do want to try and save a perfect on Shirashiri, as you can see with my particular run. I think I get everyone down to 1 perfect, which is fine, but you just want to be careful with Shirashiri, especially as you do need them to at least have 2 on their perfect counters for this particular stage against Law, Zoro, and Sobermaster. Now against Law, Zoro, Jiro, and Sobermaster, they're going to bind your top and bottom right side as well as your middle left. So this is why having Luffy, Sanji in the bottom left is essential, because you can remove the bind with their switch ability. Then we're going to use the special of V2 Shirashiri. Now V2 Shirashiri is going to give us a heal, but you want to make sure you are in the Psy variation of them, very, very important. Otherwise, you're not going to do any damage. We are going to hit a bunch of greats, hit perfects if we need to on Law, and then with the support of Hakuba, we can actually take out Law on the first turn. That's very, very important that we do that. Otherwise, Law is going to roll our specials backwards to the very beginning. On the second turn, Zoro is going to bind your top and bottom left and your middle right. So we are just going to pass a turn here, use the meat orbs to heal up a little bit, because we do want to try and take out Sobma Mask on the second turn. So once that comes around, we are going to switch back into Sanji and then use the Luffy Sanji special, as we are going to stall basically here and on Jack to get our specials back anyway. We can use that 2.5 times attack boost to actually take out Sobma Mask easy peasy. Remember to just hit greats, otherwise you will break the perfect barrier. And then once we start focusing on Zoro, we are going to have to stall a little bit, because on the third turn, Zoro limits our specials to 1 for 20 turns. So we're basically just going to stall here until that hits around 11 or 10, and then we can move on to Jack. So I'm going to fast forward to then. Alright, so here we are with 11 counters left on the timer, and this is basically where we're going to try and take out Zoro. Remember to heal up where you can. Against Jack, he is going to blow away your friend captain, so you don't have to like heal up every single turn. You just want to make sure that you're around the 70k HP before you move on to the Jack stage. We're going to take out Zoro now, and we can move on. So on to the next stage, we come up against Jack. Now, Jack does a whole bunch of shenanigans. He puts up 3 turns of damage reduction and threshold. He gives us attack down, and he blows away our friend captain on the second turn. And then he starts doing like double attacks, then he blows away our friend captain again. But basically, with this particular setup, we still want to try and stall out the one special anyway. So we are just going to take our time against Jack here, stalling out where we can to get any healing back and to remove the damage reduction and the threshold, as well as the attack down on ourselves. So Jack's going to blow away our friend captain, and then he's going to start doing like HP cuts and double attacks, but he does turn into a quick unit as well. That is something else to note if you aren't running this particular team, but it doesn't matter for us because we are running Mono Psy. Basically, once we've gotten rid of the damage reduction and the threshold, we are just going to use normal attacks to whittle Jack down, and then we can just take him out when we need to. Basically, you just want to have all your specials back ready to go for the final stage, or for the next 2 stages, I should say. And then from there, you're pretty much hunky-dory. So I'm going to fast forward again to the point where we take out Jack. Alright, so we've stalled out all of the limit special chain, and ideally when you take out Jack, you do want to switch into Shirishiri. That way you sort of just maximize your HP pool. As once you go into the next stage against Kaido, he starts doing like 24k every single turn, and it depends on what your setup looks like. But you just want to have as much HP as possible. On this stage against Kaido, he's going to give us 5 turns of a very nasty burn. I think it's about 15k, so you don't want to get hit by that. But we do have the V2 Shirishiri special here. Now that special is not only going to remove the burn, but give us that chain buff mechanic. And now that we've reached this Kaido stage, we can actually start hitting perfects, because we don't actually need the meat orbs anymore. Kaido drastically reduces your recovery, so any of the meat orbs that you actually eat are sort of non-existent. And because we've used our ENEL special through the run, we drastically have a higher chance of landing on matching orbs. And Psy orbs aren't one of those orbs that Jack makes unfavorable. But as you can see, like, we don't really get that lucky with an orb roll, but it doesn't matter too much, as once we get to the final stage anyway, we're going to use the Germa special, which is going to give us a full board of T&D orbs. So having matching orbs here really doesn't matter too much. We just really want to take out Kaido before the 5th turn, and as you can see with the Shirishiri special, we can easily do that. Once we kill Kaido, he does have a revive mechanic, however. He comes back with, I think it's something like 40% or 30% of his HP, but he also special binds us for 3 turns. So you do want to actually get rid of that, but we can easily do that with the Shirishiri switch mechanic. And because we've gotten rid of the burn, it makes life a lot easier here, as we can actually hit perfects against Kaido, doing a lot more damage than if we were doing wild words. We would do a lot more damage if we. Wow. Okay. It means that we can do a lot more damage instead of what we would be doing if we were hitting grades. So once we do get Shirishiri back, we can use their switch ability, and we can remove one of the turns of special bind, and then we can move on to the next stage, or the final stage, against Hawkins. Now against Hawkins, he is going to turn into a Psy unit. That way we don't have color affinity against him. He's going to put up defense up for 3 turns, and he's going to despair us as well. So that's why having Robin on this particular team is really, really good, because she can remove the despair and the defense up. But you want to use your Luffy Sanji special first. Because we're despaired, we are at max HP, so that way we get the 2.5 times attack boost, which is really, really nice. We can then use Robin to remove the defensive effects and the despair. We can switch into Shirishiri or Mancherry, so that way we have our Psy variant. We can use our Germa special. Germa's going to become captain, and he's going to be super effective against all types, which is really, really nice. And then we can use their super typing to give ourselves a chain buff. And then once again, we can use our ENEL special. That's going to give us a 2.25 times color affinity boost. And because Germa are super effective against all types, it's a really nice way of actually making ENEL special way more viable on this particular team, as color affinity captains, or captains that do color affinity, aren't exactly the greatest sort of teams ever, provided you aren't versing sort of the obviously the opposite color. And for this particular situation, color affinity is sort of just, it is what it is, because we actually don't have it for pretty much the entire run, and when we do have it, we can't use the special. So it's funny how that works, but look, it is what it is, like I said. But with that, Germa's just going to hit ridiculously hard. I think they do something like 40 mil, and Bob's your uncle. See you later, Basil Hawkins. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.